Astrapak rather specialises in plastic packaging, both flexibles and rigids.
Right, so this is the one that I laughed and joked and said was in permanent turnaround mode, because you can only take the market's confidence so far in selling the story about, what is continuing and discontinuing. And I'm afraid, having sold the idea that they were going to transform themselves, they're still carrying quite a lot of assets that they list as, discontinued.
So
or
market
held
cap
for
here,
sale.
it's just over $500 million. And its price to earnings ratio of negative 38.
Which
it
I
has
think
no
indicates that
dividend
the core
yield.
earnings have been negative if you take the discontinued operations and put them together.
Yeah.
So shall we start with a little clarity on the share price performance on this one?
So the 5-year chart remains depressed.
Yeah.
And can it recover, Wayne?
Look,
I suppose that's
very
got to be
low
our question
trader,
here.
very low trader, as Paul said. This company is in restructuring. They keep talking. They mention restructuring, repositioning so many times in their report.
That the market's actually tired of it.
Yeah, but whenever you read that, the company is actually in trouble. You only undergo that sort of restructuring if you are truly staring down the barrel of a gun. Now, they say they've done it. They say they've sorted it all out. They had huge problems in their was it polymer business, the foam pack business. Huge problems there. They say it sorted it out. It's also very, very small trader.
But the market,
very low
as we said, the market
capital.
doesn't actually believe
Look,
this
if
one
you go
anymore.
back 20 years, this was a real market darling, and what
Was a
they
winner.
did is they went around and bought up all the independent packaging companies around the country. And effectively now they've sold a number of key pieces of the business that they said were not strategic, and that's because the CEO, Robin Moore, who's an ex-Nampak man, came in and did a total review. So they've stemmed the losses largely. They've also rebuilt the balance sheet from the sales of the individual
I hear a
units.
big but coming.
But at the end of the day, you do have to deliver earnings
Ultimately,
that
you
are
must show the
sustained.
result.
And they've also held a couple of businesses intended for sale a bit longer, indicating that they can't sell them at acceptable
What
prices.
price they want. And look, a company like this could be a fantastic turnaround situation. We might regret the fact that we don't buy it, because when you get something like this and it actually does turn around and you can produce earnings from a very depressed base quite spectacularly, and no one in the market will
Are
believe
you
you
saying
for the
that this
first 2 or
then
3
could
years.
be the ultimate
No,
value
I
story
don't.
as you were
It
going
could
with
be,
Nampak?
but that's maybe for the true believers in value. It's not for me.
One other just interesting thing to mention is that as the shareholder base kind of has restricted, it ended up with a couple of interesting shareholders. So it had Coronation Fund Management with a big chunk, like 30%, Metier, which is Terry Delay's private equity type group, 30%. Regarding capital management, Piet Viljoen's team
They also
had
took a
like
big stake.
15, but I don't know whether they still have it, because these value type managers have often been forced to
Been
sell
forced to you've been
because they've been raising funds to fund
to fund withdrawals.
from their overall funds.
Well,
So-
let's call it hot or not.
No,
Not
I'll
hot.
sit back. I'm not brave enough.
No, we actually looked at it and kind of had quite a close interaction with the management team and Carol Dundas,
You kicked the tires a bit.
the investor relations person, but I'm afraid I'm going to go not hot because I'd like to see some sustained earnings out of them.
It's okay.
before
You can call
consider
it not hot. It's all right, even though you've met management and they've tried to convince you.